everyone, welcome to the ACID pre-quiz of January 2026. This is a prerequisite to the quiz competition that will occur later this month. And before we start, I just want to say a couple of things. In the full quiz that will occur later on, when you're registering, you have to register to join it. Number one, please enter your full name and your school name so we can differentiate between participants. And also, please subscribe to the channel. It helps our organization. Alright, let's start. Also, not all of these questions will be in the final quiz. This pre-quiz has 75 questions, but the final quiz will only be 50 questions. So 25 questions will be omitted, but this is just to prepare you for what's to come. Let's start. Our first subject is mathematics. Question 1. You have 17 blue marbles and 5 red marbles in a jar. If you give 4 to a friend, how many marbles do you have left? Alright. So the options are 20, 15, 13, and 18. Let's move on to the next question. In the number 178902, so that's 178,902, what number is in the 10,000s place? Our options are 7, 8, 0, and 1. The next question, question 3. Identify the rule in this number pattern. 5, 10, 20, 40, 80, 160. And as you can see we have 4 options here. The numbers keep adding 10, the numbers keep getting squared, the numbers keep doubling, or the numbers keep getting cubed. Next we have a true or false question. 4 out of 7 is greater than 2 out of 3. So you have to find your answer using a common denominator. Our options are of course true or false because this is a true or false question. A rectangular box is 6 inches long, 4 inches wide, and 3 inches tall. Find the volume of the box in cubic inches. As we go, 53 cubic inches, 67 cubic inches, 72 cubic inches, and 89 cubic inches. A car travels 180 miles in 3 hours at a constant speed. How far will it have gone in 5 hours? Our options are 300 miles, 684 miles, 473 miles, and 569 miles. Change this decimal to a percent. 0.32. Our options are 0.32%, 3.20%, 32%, and 64%. The linear equation ax plus by equals c is called blank. The equation is ax plus by equals c. Our options are slope-intercept form, standard form, point-slope form, and quadratic form. How would you set up the Pythagorean theorem for the following right triangle? 8 squared plus 15 squared equals c squared. 15 squared plus 8 squared equals x squared. Both a and b, or none of the following. None of the preceding. How is 0.0024 written in scientific notation? solve this system of equations. And the system of equation is minus x plus y equals 13 and minus 9x minus 7y equals 5. Next. So we're going to pull up a diagram here, and the options will be either angle of elevation or angle of depression. And as you can see here, we have this image of the boat and the lighthouse. The right triangle, 27-degree angle. Next, we have another image, and it has a number, and we're going to rewrite that in logarithmic form. And it's y to the power of x equals 72. Now we have another image, and we'll have a graph on it. So what quadrant is displayed in blue? And as we can see, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. The probability of an event cannot be greater than what value? 10, 1, 0, 100. Our next subject is English Language Arts. This question is multi-select. Select the irregular verbs. Fly, do, and write. The next question is, a universal idea or a big lesson about life is a tone, a theme, a conflict, or a symbolism. Who is the author of the fantasy novel The Hobbit? Our options are J.R.R. Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, H.G. Wells, or Lewis Carroll. How can chapter titles and headings help you as a reader? And they tell us what we will be reading about, they help us learn new words, or they help us to turn the pages. What nonfiction text feature tells us the meaning of unknown words? Our options are table of contents, index, glossary, or photograph. What figurative language is this? My cat is so fat he weighs 1,000 pounds. Simile, personification, onomatopoeia, or hyperbole. The etymology of a word is a synonym, its connotation, its denotation, or where the word originally came from. Slowing of the pace of a story creates fear, boredom, suspense, or excitement. A solid and reasonable argument that opposes or disagrees with the central claim. A rebuttal, a supporting claim, a refute, or a counterclaim. Support for a particular viewpoint through the use of personal and frequently vivid stories. A hypothesis, a theory, an anecdotal evidence, or a meta-analysis. In literature, what is foreshadowing? When you first meet a protagonist, an indication of a future event, the time between Act 2 and Act 3, or when the antagonist first challenges the protagonist. What is MLA? A type of essay, a writing format style, a CCDW paragraph, or a book. Which type of irony is this? The audience knew that the murderer was in the basement, but the girl did not. A verbal, a situational, or a dramatic? Different types of information text could include a brochure, an atlas, an article, and a book. The theme of Macbeth is Too much power leads to destruction, political greed corrupts, power doesn't buy happiness, or actions have consequences. Our next subject is science and technology. Light and sound travel in waves, particles, a vacuum, or a straight path. The study of the structure of organisms. Anatomy, physiology, statistics, or cell biology. This must occur before erosion takes place. Weathering, anti-erosion, deposition, or ice melting. Why should we test different materials and techniques while engineering? To try new ideas, to see which method is best, to make a new product. The jets of particles thrown outward from a black hole can emit radio waves, X-rays, gamma rays, or all of the above. What happens to kinetic energy as potential energy is decreased? It stays the same, it increases, or it decreases. True or false? Enzymes are lipids that act as biological catalysts. The law of gravitation predicts the gravitational interaction between the Earth and its distance, the Earth and Sun only, any two bodies with mass, or any two objects with charge. The process of testing a hypothesis under controlled conditions is called a blank. A conclusion, a result, an observation, or an experiment. Radio waves have a longer wavelength than visible light. True or false? How scientists use artificial intelligence to aid their efforts to find alien radio signals. To control lots and lots of telescopes at once. To sort through a lot of data to find strange signals that may be aliens. Translating alien language into human language. Or predicting which stars might have Earth-like planets. What should not be a constraint on scientists when they design an experiment? Safety, cost of materials for the design, their opinions on how much they like to design, amount of time in which the design must function. How many moons does Jupiter have? Between 80 and 95? Just 12. Between 24 and 40? Or between 60 and 67? Which cell part conducts cellular respiration? Chloroplast, mitochondria, nucleus, or a cell wall? What is the atomic symbol for silver? S, Si, Ag, or Au? Our next subject is history. What is this wonder of the ancient world? A ziggurat, the pyramids of Giza, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, or the Great Wall of China? Which regions supplied the most cotton, spices, and silk to the world market circa 1450 to 1750 CE? South and Southeast Asia, West and Central Africa, the Caribbean and Brazil, or Andean South America? Why did early people settle near rivers? Fresh water, fish food source, silt on ground, or all of the above? The Celtic New Year represented what to their people? Celtic. The start of summer and the end of winter, the end of the harvest and the start of winter, respecting people's dead relatives, or freedom from Spanish rule? True or false? The ancient Egyptians believed triangles were sacred. Multi-select. The Magna Carta served to limit the king's power, protect certain rights for the nobles, or increase the power of the king. Which disease is linked with the Black Death pandemic that swept Eurasia in the mid-1300s? Avian flu, smallpox, measles, or bubonic plague? Caravanserais served which purpose on the Silk Road? Inns, post offices, custom houses, or guard posts? Which English Protestant Reformation traditions inspired the Pilgrims when they left England? Royal coronation ceremonies, days of Thanksgiving and special Thanksgiving religious services, afternoon tea with scones, cakes, and tea, or Guy Fawkes night with bonfires and fireworks. Athens and Sparta were almost always blank. Allies, enemies, trading partners, or feared by all the other city-states. World War I was originally referred to as the Civil War, the War of 1914, the Great War, or all of the above. Which group benefited the most from the Industrial Revolution? Aristocracy, middle class, or the laboring class? During the Cold War, the spread of what was the main concern of the United States government? Communism, fascism, socialism, or containment? Which Asian country remained independent during imperialism? Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam, Burma. All of these are true about the Enlightenment era except philosophers advocating using reason and logic to guide human action, revolutionaries relying on liberal ideas to legitimize their revolts, Enlightenment ideas influencing abolitionism and feminism, or traditional and political and religious authority except was being accepted without question. Our final subject is geography. Double points. Which country has the most time zones across all of its territories? France, Russia, China, or the United States? What is the only country in the world that spans all 4 hemispheres? The Solomon Islands, the Republic of Kiribati, the Cook Islands, or Vanuatu? Which African lake is largest by surface area? Lake Tanganyika, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, Lake Malawi, Lake Victoria, or Lake Chad? What is the name of the world's largest coral reef system? Great Barrier Reef, Red Sea Coral Reef, Mesoamerican Barrier Reef, or the New Caledonian Barrier Reef? Which U.S. state has the most active volcanoes? California, Washington, Alaska, or Hawaii? Which country is both an island and a continent? There's no such thing, Madagascar, Australia, or Antarctica. What is the name of the world's longest mountain range? The Rocky Mountains, the Himalayas, the Andes, or the Alps? What country is Mount Kilimanjaro located in? South Africa, Sudan, Tanzania, or Ethiopia? What is the term for a narrow strip of land connecting 2 larger land masses? Peninsula, isthmus, strait, or delta? Which 2 countries share the longest undefended border in the world? Canada and Mexico, the U.S. and Mexico, the U.S. and Russia, or the Canada and the U.S.? Multi-select. Which 2 countries have the most neighboring countries to them? Russia, China, Brazil, or India? What is the only country in the world that has a flag that is not rectangular? Switzerland, Bhutan, Vatican City, or Nepal? Which city lies on 2 continents? Moscow, Athens, Cairo, or Istanbul? What is the name of the world's largest freshwater lake measured by surface area? Lake Placid, Lake Superior, Crystal Lake, or Lake Alice? Madagascar is located off the eastern coast of Africa in which ocean? Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, or Arctic Ocean? Alright, that's it for today. I hope to see you all in the final quiz later this month. Happy New Year to you all, and I'll see you all later.